If you're a homeowner in Sonoma County and you've heard about Compass private exclusives or private placement listings, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Ernest Berghof, broker and CEO of Berghof Realty. I'm an independent real estate broker in Sonoma County. I rank at the top 1,000 of agents in the state of California, and I'm the top 1% of all agents in the nation, and I've got to set the record straight. Private exclusives may sound appealing. You'll hear words like privacy, control, discretion, voiding days on market, but there are important trade-offs most sellers don't fully understand until after the fact. My goal here isn't to tell you what to do, it's just to explain how private placement actually works, where it can make sense, and where it can quietly work against many sellers' interests. Private exclusive listing is just one that's kept off the MLS or public websites like Zillow or Realtor.com. Instead, it's just shared internally with the brokers and agents. In the case of Compass, that internal network includes more than 37,000 agents nationwide. So here's the first thing sellers should understand. These listings aren't truly private, they're just not fully exposed to the open market. What's being limited isn't internal visibility. What's being limited is exposure to the majority of qualified buyers. That includes buyers represented by local independent agents, boutique agencies, and others that make up 87.5% of the Sonoma County real estate market. Real estate prices aren't set by branding or marketing language, they're set by competition. The strongest outcomes happen when multiple qualified buyers discover a property at the same time, and they know they may lose it if they hesitate. That urgency is what creates clean offers, strong terms, and pricing discipline in the seller's favor. Private placement limits that dynamic by design. Fewer buyers see the property, urgency is reduced, and leverage can quietly shift away from the seller even if the home does sell. One of the most common selling points of private exclusives is that they limit days on market. That's technically true on the MLS, but it doesn't limit the time the seller is actually dealing with the sale. The clock starts the moment showings begin. Feedback starts to come in, and decisions become emotionally and logistically real. Private placement just moves that time off the public record. It doesn't remove the waiting, the disruption, or the uncertainty. In many cases, sellers trade visible MLS days for invisible stall time. Momentum fades quietly before the property ever launches publicly. Another phrase sellers hear a lot is that private placement lets you test pricing. That sounds safe, but it raises an important question. Why is pricing being tested at all? Strong pricing should be established before a home is introduced to buyers. It should be based on market data, comparable sales, buyer behavior, and local demand. When pricing feels tentative or experimental, buyers sense it, and uncertainty weakens negotiating leverage. The strongest results usually come from confident pricing paired with full exposure, not trial and error behind the scenes. This is where incentives matter. Internal-only exposure benefits a brokerage by keeping activity inside its own ecosystem. But for sellers, the benefit is less clear. There's no inherent advantage to assuming the best buyer will come from the company's internal agent network, especially in Sonoma County. Serious buyers here work with many different brokers and advisors. Restricting exposure effectively places a bet on a single brokerage. Many sellers don't realize they're making that bet. At Berghof Realty, we do offer private placement, but only in very specific situations. It can make sense when there are genuine privacy concerns, a very narrow buyer target, or a clear strategic reason. Private placement should be a tool, not a default strategy. As a local independent broker, we have very simple incentive structure. Our success depends entirely on the seller's outcome. That means full exposure to the entire qualified buyer universe, cooperation across all brokerages, and a strategy driven by market behavior, not platform architecture. In a relationship market like Sonoma County, that openness often produces stronger competition, cleaner negotiations, and more confident results. Selling a home is not about appearing exclusive, it's about creating demand. It's about preserving leverage, and it's about knowing you did everything reasonably possible to achieve the best outcome. If you're considering any off-market or private placement strategy, ask for a clear plan that explains the trade-offs, not just the benefits. I've also put together a detailed written guide that breaks this down point by point. You'll find that in the link below. If you'd like to talk through your situation confidentially, I'm also happy to help.